before we get into like what we can do with these open seats and show up to vote, you were sharing that you were afraid of what's going to happen. I see it. Like I predicted Trump was going to win the primary. And everyone was like, shut up, stop saying it. I was like, the tea leaves are right there. This country is moving in that direction. And if he becomes the nominee, he's going to win. And people thought I was absolutely crazy, but I put my finger up and I tested where the wind was blowing, and that's what I saw. And Hillary was a problematic candidate and nobody was listening. And I was like, okay, all right. So I came up with the party of Lincoln strategy. I was like, let's affect this primary. Let's give them Jeb Bush can't beat Hillary. Kasich probably can't beat Hillary, but Trump can beat Hillary. I knew that. And nobody listened. And the same thing is happening right now, Jamie Harrison. 2022 is going to be a disaster if we don't do something. So you said you're afraid.
No,
you're afraid.
I am afraid, Karen. I am deeply afraid. And I've talked to, folks at the White House, friends on the Hill, the leaders on the Hill and the House and the Senate, governors. Secretaries of state who I spent a lot of time with, the Democratic secretaries of state. I'm afraid, listen, first and foremost, before I'm the DNC chair, before I'm, former U.S. Senate candidate, I'm a Black man in South Carolina raising 2 Black boys. If you want to strip me down to who I am, that is who I am. And as that, I am afraid about where I see we are going in this country, particularly if we lose the House and the Senate and these governor's races in this midterm election. And we all need to be afraid. We all need to be fearful about what then comes. Who gets the brunt? We know in this society who carries the weight when, as they say, when the nation gets the flu, who the hell gets the, if the nation's got a
COVID.
Flu, right? We got COVID, right? It is, we should all be extremely concerned right now, and the level of anxiety that we should have should be extremely high. Because what we see, and history teaches us all of this, we have seen this in history, that there's an anxiety because people see that the nation is changing and their perceived power is slipping away and this and that. And so folks do all kinds of things that are not rational, and irrational folks are dangerous folks.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is why I am fearful. And that's why the urgency for me is at an all-time high. And that's why we got to do everything that we can to make sure, as I said, I will do everything in my power to make sure that my boys don't have to live the life that my grandparents lived, right? They didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have the right to do so much. My grandma, I told my staff just recently the other day, Karen, a story that I don't share that often, but I've been sharing with folks lately about my grandma when I was asking her about being a little girl. And she told me this story about how her mom, when she was 8 or 9, her mom huddled all of the kids together and tell them, be quiet, hush, don't say a word. And the KKK was marching down the street in their neighborhoods. She told me, she said, Jamie, I never seen my mom that scared. And Karen, when she was telling me that story, I'd never seen that fear in my grandma's eyes. Fear that she still had from when she was a little person. My grandma's still alive. So that wasn't that long ago, right? In some aspects, I think people think of our history as something that took place, like when they hear about the marches, the civil rights marches and the beatings and the hangings and the lynchings and these voter suppression eras, like that happened during the 1800s when it just happened. It just happened where people are still alive who did some of those things, they are still alive, and who were the victims of some of those things who are also still alive. So we all carry that, the scars and the history and that historical pain, we all carry that, or many of us do. And so I'm scared because I don't want us to relive our history. That is what I'm scared about. I don't want my boys to relive those times. So we got to step up. We all got to stand the hell up and do something about it. And I'm trying to do my part, but this ain't on one person. And I want folks to understand that too.
But you took this seat, Jamie Harrison, and and I was happy you took the seat because I love the campaign you ran in South Carolina. I was sad that you lost, but and I actually thought you should do what Stacey Abrams is doing, run again. Because I feel like in many ways, and I experienced this when I had a business and somebody gave me $1 million, that I had to kind of listen to the money, even though in my heart I knew what I needed to do, and I let them take my vision for what I wanted to do with my business, and I followed what the money people told me. Yeah. And I feel like you're sitting in a seat stunted in a way. All of that passion and coming from South Carolina, knowing the history of this country, knowing the history of that state with that Confederate flag and all of the blood that's in the soil and that all of that, what's at stake here. And it's not a fear tactic, y'all. They're operating in fear and fascism and fraud. Yep. We are underestimating that fear and what that fear will manifest. And that's why, for me, voting rights is everything. We have to get this done. And those of you, my vote, I'm not voting. You're stupid. You're ignorant. You don't understand what this is. That shouldn't even be a contemplative thing that I might not vote. And I get, we feel like our vote is being, usurped, or Biden and Harris aren't respecting us. And why are we voting for this? It ain't about them. It's about Jamie Harrison's grandmother. It's about my grandmother.
Yes.
It's about all of the people, not just who died, but Medgar Evers and this is how important it is that they killed Medgar Evers for going out. Come on, right? The people who live.
People who are living right now.
It's not about the bridge, the Selma Bridge. This is about: do you want to have a country that you have a say in, or do you want to wait for them to come round you up? Because that's how serious it is for me. That poem, and it happens quickly. Crystal knock the day before, everybody was going about their business as neighbors. Everything was good, and then that thing happened, and then just like that, it happens quickly. And this has been a slow civil war we're heading towards. So I want to know, is there something, Jamie, when you came into this office that you wanted to get done that you just couldn't get done, that you feel like handcuffed by the office itself?
Well, part of the thing is it's about a culture change too, Karen, and a culture change within party politics. And, there are folks who look at politics the way that it used to be. And now I think as our times have evolved, the party has to evolve as well. And our tactics and our strategy also has to evolve. We have to be creative. We have to keep our finger on the pulse of where things are going. And sometimes it's difficult to do that, right? Partly because we are an extremely diverse party. The reason why it's so easy for the Republican Party, just look at them. They're monolithic. They all look the same. They all come from the same place. I mean, you go to the Republican conference, you throw a rock and you hit somebody, and who the hell knows who you hit, because everybody is sort of the same, right? You go to a Democratic caucus meeting and it's very, very different. You got, it's like the whole rainbow of folks in terms of ethnicity and religion and gender identity and sexual orientation, everything that you see in America, you find in the Democratic Party. Well, that's our blessing, but also it comes with complications. That means then we're coming from different places, and our prioritization on stuff ain't always going to be the same. You may prioritize, criminal justice reform or whatever. Somebody else from the West Coast may prioritize climate change or whatever as their top issue. And so then what we have to do for our party is then find something that is big enough, that is elastic enough, that can and strong enough to accommodate all of the diversity that we are. And that's why sometimes it is a struggle. People say, well, where's the Democratic message? Well, I can come up with a message, but that message may not resonate with the people in Brooklyn the same way that it'll resonate to people in Mississippi or the folks that out in Beverly Hills, right? And so we got to have something that is expansive enough, that is elastic enough to fit everybody, but also that is motivating enough to keep us all together. Now, if what you see right now that the Republican Party is doing in this country is not enough to scare you to say, you know what, let's put the disagreements aside and focus, number one, on getting voting rights done to make sure that we can all enjoy our rights long term. I don't know then what will it will take you to wake up, because folks, this right now is something. It is something like we have never seen before, at least never in my lifetime. And, I'm scared. I hope you are too, because that will prompt us to act in the manner that we need to act. Now, I know, Karen, you wanted to know, particularly on these Senate seats, we need more seats in the Senate. Bottom line.
Period.
We are in a 50-50 Senate. I know a lot of people think you can make miracles in the Senate. The way that the Senate is currently configured, you can't get anything done without 60 votes. The only thing you can do is reconciliation. You need 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate. And the only way to change that is to get more than 50 senators right now to change the rules in the Senate to allow us to get past that legislation.
They use the nuclear option when they want to push through things, to push through their Supreme Court things. So why can't we do that?
Because you don't have the nuclear option with Manchin and Sinema. You don't have the nuclear option. They're not on board.
And
So
Biden can't just executive order away the filibuster.
No,
He can't.
no, that it's a Senate rule. So you got to be a voting member in the United States Senate. And that's why, what hurts my heart, Karen, is when I didn't win that race. Because listen, had I won my race in the United States Senate, I would be the 51 senator for Chuck Schumer, and we'd be that much closer to be able to get rid of this thing at this point. Had we won in North Carolina, or in Iowa, in Alaska, in Maine, we had a lot of good candidates last cycle. Just one or two more of those seats, we would be in a totally different situation right now. But this is the thing. This is what my grandma said: control what you can control. Right now, folks, we can control and add more seats in the United States Senate in this election. You remember in 2020, we had 80 million votes. They had 70-some million votes. Our people haven't gone to wait. We just need to wake up and make sure that we go to the polls. If we go to polls the same way we went in 2020, we win, we add more seats to the United States Senate, and therefore we can change a lot of the stuff. But I know folks are frustrated. I know that they're concerned, but you can't give up, folks. You cannot give up.
So the open seats right now, so we got to hold Nevada. We got Raphael Warnock, Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock. We got to hold that seat in Georgia. We got a seat in New Hampshire that has to be held.
In Arizona. And then, so those are 4 seats that we have to hold just to keep our 50-50. And then we need to add more to the 50-50, right? Here are some of the states that I would say for folks, if you are in these states, make sure you're registered, get your family registered, make sure that you know all the things about going to vote. Knock on doors, make some phone calls. All of that can be helpful. And I'm going to just run the tally. North Carolina, open seat. We got African-American woman who is running there, who we can add to the United States Senate. Pennsylvania is an open seat. Wisconsin, we got crazy Ron Johnson. Y'all, he is badass crazy. Yes.
Bad crap crazy. Yeah.
So Wisconsin, make sure you're voting in that state. Florida, Val Demings, who is fantastic, running against Marco Rubio. In Ohio, Iowa, in South Carolina, we got 2 sisters running against Tim Scott here in South Carolina. Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Alaska, those, and then there are a number of other states, Arkansas, South Dakota. We got a number of places where we can run. And listen, I've run for the Senate. It ain't easy running for the Senate. It is a huge sacrifice to put yourself out, particularly in today's politics, where people are coming after you on a personal level and coming after your family. And so support these people when you see them run, folks, even if it's in a tough state or a tough district, but support them. They need your support because it's a heavy weight that they carry.
Sir, I have this question. We know that the Senate period is problematic. We have two senators per states with the whole state has a population that a city has. Like, what do we do to change that? Because if that doesn't happen, the way the population is moving in the country, the Senate will run the country and the population will not be represented.
Yeah,
we need to move to North and South Dakota like a great migration. Millions of Black people need to take our asses to north and south. I know it's cold and chilly there.
Ain't gonna happen.
Like that's what we need to do. If we were really about that life, seriously, all these organizations, Urban League, NAACP, like get a bus load of people and pay for relocation of Black folk in these places where these people are running the table and the cost of living is cheap. We go with our own tech jobs. I promise you.
You got plenty of land. Karen, you got so much
land. It's true. It's true though. I like that idea. I'd go move there.
With a purpose for a cycle. You know, have a residency. You know how to do that. We know how to. Come on. Yes, all right, but you raise a point though, Tonya. I'm sorry. My goodness. It's just, to me, you know, for people who play, you know, chess or what have you, strategy is everything. You know, you look at, okay, y'all got this. This is what they did. They looked at the map and they were like, okay, what do we need? Oh, we could gerrymander. How do we do that? All right, the legislature. All right, so you gonna run. Nobody shows up. You could win with 1,000 votes. You got 1,000 people. Let's call the 1,000 people. Make sure you get elected. Oh, you're running unopposed. Shh, don't say nothing. Don't talk about the state legislature. But this is the plan. Like, it's like we keep getting on our heels and then we reacted to everything. And this is what I'm saying to you, Jamie Harrison. Like, what's the offensive? Like, I'm an offensive person. I'm going to say this out loud. Everybody knows this already. I am very offensive.
Karen,
I need offense. I'm not a defensive person. I'm going to punch you in your mouth, verbally, of course, not physically, and wait for you to react. I'm going to shock the hell out of you. I'm going to do, like, I feel like y'all just waiting and then you react. And then it's like they already 10 steps ahead. I'm like, no, pull the table thing, break all of the dishes, and let's go. I don't understand it.
I don't know if you're a football fan, but I always tell my staff this from day one of becoming chair is I have never seen a team play prevent defense and win a championship. You don't do it. And even if you have the lead, if all you do is prevent defense the entire damn game, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. So you got to go on the offense and you got to be okay with it. And it's partly, part of it is in the DNA. I think the Democrats versus Republicans, Democrats go into government because they see it as a vehicle in order to do good and to try to help people for the most part, right? Republicans go in because of power. It is have the power. And we got to understand that mentality, and we have to build and play the game based on that mentality of understanding who our opponent is and how they're going to interact. So we got to be on the offense, put them on their heels, put them on the defense. And so I subscribe to that philosophy too. But again, it's about how you change the culture of a party. And I've been in the job for less than a year. And I can tell you, I'm not going to be able to change that overnight, but we're going to try to affect it on the margins where we can, right? Control what you can control.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you giving us your time. I know you got to run, and I thank you for coming in monthly and checking in.
Yes, ma'am.
Jamie Harrison, follow him. I know y'all tired of getting the donations, but we're going to be here. We're going to hold them accountable to make sure the money gets to where it needs to be.
And Karen, I hope you have been enjoying my clapbacks recently. Kellyanne Conway tried to come for me last night. And I was ready for it. And had she responded one more time, I told my mama this afternoon before your show, one more time. And I said,
but that's the problem though, Jamie. She shouldn't have thought that she could do that.
No,
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
But
I wish somebody would. She shouldn't even think she could. I think everyone contemplates. Am I coming for Karen Hunter? No, because she might snatch my edges before I even open my mouth. I think they shouldn't think that they could come for you, Jamie. That's all I'm saying. She should know.
Well, this is the thing, Karen. From here on out, she knows not to step this weekend.
Okay.
It was a little too hot in that kitchen because she didn't respond because I was ready for if she did. And that's the thing. I'm going at these people in a way. I'm not going to be the genteel DNC chair of years past. I'm letting people know what the hell I feel right now about where we're going and who they are. And I'm calling them
double down. I'm going to deputize you to do whatever needs to be done. I got your back. You can always come here. If you need somebody to slap hands and come in, and we could tag team. I'm here. I got you.
I'm gonna call you
Do
on
what you
it,
need to
Karen.
do, Jamie Harrison.
I'm gonna call you on it. Thank you.
All right.
I
I
appreciate it.
promise. I got your back.